This week, we're finishing up the revival on this 1979 Chevy Suburban K20. Unfortunately, this Suburban was neglected. The interior was nasty, the outside was rough, it needed some motor work, but I knew this thing had some potential. So far, it's cleaned up really good. Finished up the interior for the most part, got some new wheels and tires on here. I'm loving it. This thing turned out sweet. There's just a bunch of last minute stuff that needs taken care of, a few more installs on the interior, some more stuff on the outside to clean it up, make it look nice. Let's check it out. We're gonna start on the inside of the Suburban. I wanna get that radio installed. All I got right now is a Bluetooth speaker. We're gonna be installing a retro sound radio. It's a modern radio with Bluetooth and all that, but it kind of looks the part for these older trucks. I actually already have one installed in the C10. Pretty easy to do. There's our radio, and then the speaker. We'll have to run some wire. First step, tear down the dash. It's actually really simple to get the dash torn apart on one of these. It's got a bunch of perimeter screws around the instrument bezel here. And I'll just pull right out. And getting the dash pad out is even easier. There's just 4 screws along the bottom there, and it'll just pull right out. We're in. Now we gotta find our wires for the radio. Pretty simple though. All we need is a 12-volt constant, a 12-volt switched, and a ground. I got my test light here. I'm gonna poke and prod, find some wires, and we might have to tap into the fuse box up yonder to try and find something. Went ahead and pulled all the gauges so I can get at all the wiring that much easier. That's also really simple, just a bunch of perimeter screws and then the main harness plug, a couple light switches, and then the speedo cable is a little tricky if you don't know what you're looking for. On the back of the speedometer, you have to hold down this tab while pulling on that cable. So hold that down and pull, and then it comes right out. Found all of our wires. The ground and the 12-volt switched I actually found in the dash, and then the yellow wire here, no power. But then if I flick the key on, now that yellow light has power. And then this green wire has power all the time, even if the key's off, which is our 12-volt constant. That one I had to find on my own, so I routed that green wire through there. And then there is an empty spot right here on the fuse panel that had 12 volts all the time. I fused it right there with a 15 amp. Now we can wire up our harness for our retro sound kit, and they label everything, make it real easy. Now that we have power for the radio wired up, we'll wire up the speaker. I already kind of made this little pigtail so it would plug right in to the speaker that I got. Same deal, everything's well labeled. Each speaker has a positive and a negative, and then it gives you the position, front, left. Since I only have one speaker going up front, I'm just gonna treat it as a front left and a front right and wire it accordingly. Speaker's mounted up. There's the wires, and then the wires coming from the radio. Both of those harnesses plug into the main radio harness. This will go in the radio. We can actually test it right now before we get too far. Got her plugged in. Let's see what happens. Hello? Oh, radio. How about that? Cool. Found the antenna wire. It was just tucked right in there. So now we can mount the radio, which can be interesting if you have nothing to gauge it off of. Like on the C10, I didn't have a stock radio or nothing. It was just empty. So I had to go back and forth and figure out how deep to make these knobs. It's completely adjustable. Luckily though, in the back of the old Suburban here, there's this factory looking radio. I don't know if it's actually factory or not, but hopefully it's close to what we need. So I pretty much just lined them up like that and made our new retro sound radio identical to the bottom one there. We'll see if that does the trick. We'll mount this radio up and then see how the bezel fits around it. All right, got the radio mounted up for now. We'll wait till we throw in the bezel to kind of do some fine adjustments. We pretty much got to pull the bezel out, test fit, do it a couple times just to make sure it's all good. But check it out. Antenna works. How about that? All right, that's enough. Now we're not quite ready to put the dash together. One more issue I need to solve, and that is my interior lights. I got most of them. Let me turn this one off. Pull the switch. I got the climate control light. That lights up fine. The windshield wiper indicator. All that works. This bulb is a 4-wheel drive indicator. That's why that's not lit up. So on the back of these gauge clusters, they have this printed circuit board, and all the bulbs will clip in, push them in, twist, and then that main plug plugs in right here and just kind of catches all these leads. And as you can see, some of them don't look too good, or they're bent out of shape, they're not in the right spot. So I figured I'd start with a brand new circuit board, plug it in, see how everything works, and we'll go from there. There's the old board, New one's installed. I got all the bulbs back in, clipped in. So we'll throw this thing in the Suburban and we'll go from there. We'll see what it does. This plug right here, second one from the top on the right side, is our lights and translates to this gray wire right here. And if you see, turn on the marker lights and we have power to that pin. So if I plug this in and it doesn't work, definitely a ground issue. Okay, plugged in, see what happens. All right, I guess it was just a circuit board. That is good news. Let's see if these other gauges work. Now the oil pressure don't want to work. That doesn't work neither. Come on out! This is stuff I'm talking about. Fix one problem and another one presents itself. Just a fuse, luckily. Check it out. Got lights, gauges. We're in good shape. We'll circle back around to getting the radio install finalized, get the cluster back together, gonna throw the dash pad back on, and then we'll start test fitting the bezel and see how it's looking with our new radio. Dash back in secure, and then we'll throw on the bezel. First though, on the radio, there's this little bezel that makes it fit tight and look nice. Slip that on. Here's where we're at with the test fit. Ran a couple screws in just so the bezel would be sitting where it is installed. And on the left knob, it's like perfect. The bezel is flush with the edge of the knob here, and it's nice and free. But this right knob, there's a ton of space behind it, and it actually looks like it needs to move over a little bit. It's touching right here on the face of the radio. Been messing around for a while, but I think I got her. Now that I got the depth set correctly, in order to make sure it lines up with the bezel, I mounted it without the radio, and then I used the silver Sharpie to make a little mark on the center of the holes in the bezel. And then I measured the distance center to center here and made sure these were that same distance. So I'm gonna mount it one more time. I'm thinking we'll be good. Ah, we got her did. Fits great, and the knob is free, and the bezel fits good, and I got all the screws in, so everything is mounted now. That project is done. All the wiring projects are done. We've got interior lights. You can't see them, but they're there. Throw the dash back together. I got to get the duct work back in there, maybe clean up some wiring, and then onto the doors. Done ran out of hours last night. Now what we're getting into on the interior, taking off the door panels. Already got that side done. I'm doing door lock cylinders. Everything works fine. I just didn't get door keys. When I bought the Suburban, all I got is the ignition. I actually already got this side done too. So there's our new key. Works like it should. They're actually really easy to get to. This is what it looks like in the Suburban. And then there's this retainer that holds it into the door. All you gotta do is pop that retainer out and the lock cylinder comes right out. Super easy. Got the door panel off. New lock cylinders are in and they're both working. So that's all I had to do in the door panels. Let me tell you guys about the hour-long ordeal I just had trying to figure out the lock cylinder for the barn door, because it is different. Here's one that came out, and you can see how much longer it is than one of these new ones that I bought. And the part that actually turns the mechanism in the barn door is, I think, pretty much the same, this pawl here, but I needed a longer one since the cylinder itself was longer, but I couldn't find these for sale. But I finally found a video of a guy who was like just showing the inside of a barn door, and I just seen that you pretty much just need a longer piece. So I was back and forth before I found this video trying to find the right piece and the right combination. I kind of broke apart the two pawl pieces I had and then welded them together to make this, and I just tested it and it works finally. So if you take a look in here, you can kind of see how this mechanism is supposed to work. Pretty much when you're locking, you're just pushing that arm down so that when you go to open the door that it misses that striker, and then when it's engaged like that, now it can hit that striker. So all you need is a simple little device to push that arm up and down, and no one sells it, so I had to make it. One more interior related thing to do, and that's getting the horn working. So this horn pad was just glued on and all the guts were ripped out. I think we'll be all right here because we do have power to the horn, if you can hear it clicking. But you don't hear a horn because I don't think that's hooked up. Should be good in the cab here. I got it buttoned up. You can hear it clicking. Now let's find out why we don't have a horn. So the factory horn is right there, and it's this wire harness. These two green wires right here. I'm thinking take off the grill. We'll test that horn. Well, never mind on the whole grill. Right there it is. Just pulled off the driver's side bezel. So let's pull this wire off and we'll run a test light, see if we're getting power out to the wire. All right, test light. Oh, it's lighting up. Power out to the wire. So this horn, I guess, could be bad. Kind of interesting. It's kind of, well, that'll be. Just had to unplug it, plug it back in. Sweet. I'm gonna adjust the steering wheel real quick. When you go down the road and you're driving straight, it's more crooked like this. I tried to etch a little line with my fingernail when I was going straight. Right there. Now we'll adjust it. It's actually really simple to do on these four-wheel drives. We just have to loosen up this collar coming from the pitman arm, get on it with a pipe wrench, and turn the collar till the wheel's straight. And it's not too far off center, so I'm not really worried about the gearbox then being off center. After we're done, we'll fire it up and turn full lock left and right, make sure it's still good. How about that? I'll be able to turn that by hand.
Good, good. A little bit more. Right there.
Got her straightened out. So that should be about everything on the inside / mechanical that needed done. Let's get to some of this exterior stuff. I actually don't have a whole lot that we're gonna be doing to the outside of the Suburban. A couple small things that I feel like it really needs to kind of wrap up the whole thing and make it look good. This is all I got right here. Just these couple things. Let's check out these side markers next to the old ones. What happened here is when I bought the Suburban, it had some fender flares on it. They looked all right, but it just wasn't what I was going for, so we pulled them off. But the sun faded that top half, and then the fender was covering up this bottom half and didn't get faded. Looks better already. Much better. What do you think?
I like it.
Next thing up front, we got the bow tie. Like the side markers, that faded pretty good. You can see next to the new one. So I wasn't aware of this, but it's just like a piece of foil with some tape on the back. Try to keep it straight. I want to keep this memento. Just gotta peel off this 3M tape. We can stick it right on. Yahoo! Steady. Bow tie really leans back. Can you see that? The bottom like sticks out. Interesting. Ooh, protective film. Whoa. Oh yeah. That's sweet, much better. Now these here are pieces of taillight trim, and this here Suburban is a Silverado, so it should be all trimmed out. That's why the side markers have the chrome and got the badge, and the interior has the brush on it. So I think wheel arch moldings were an option, but I added those. Taillights are supposed to have trim, kind of like the C10 here. Also a Silverado, wheel arch moldings, wraparound cab trim, brushed interior pieces, the brushed tailgate cover, and then the chrome around the taillights, which is how the Suburban should be. Pop off these lenses quick, and luckily the lens itself is actually separate from the housing. It's super simple with these. You just put them on, and then you just bend these tabs over. Easy enough to bend with your fingers. And that's it. You just bend in, holds it on there tight, and they look good. Got a little protective film on here. That off. That looks much better. Makes it look a whole lot better, and now it matches the rest of the Silverado trim. One more thing to do is throw on our Suburban badge on the barn door here. Goes in that region, right about there. And what I did a few days ago to prepare for this is cut and polished both barn doors, because once this badge is on and you bolt it down, it'll be a lot harder to detail around that. So I got that done. The whole Suburban still needs a good detail. There are, it's hard to see. We got good lighting right now, but swirl marks and scratches everywhere. Luckily, this paint cleaned up like really, really good. Interesting, I'm learning a lot about the Suburban. Interesting side note is I don't think these barn doors came factory on this Suburban. Two reasons. One, it's a 79, so it should have holes for this style badge already on the barn door if it were an original barn door, but I think it's from a newer, like 90, 91, when they just stuck on the, I think it's either a Chevrolet or a Suburban badge right there. And second important piece of evidence is on the inside, we got a rear window switch as if it had a hatch. And I didn't, I don't know how I didn't notice that like right away, but I don't think it was originally barn door. So placement of this emblem is gonna be pretty key because we're gonna have to drill holes. These are the measurements I got from the forums, and I already marked it up with tape. And comparing it to some pictures and stuff online, it looks right, so I trust them. And that would be 15 inches from the edge of the S to the edge of the door. That's the tail light. and then 7 1/4 from the bottom of the S to the bottom of the barn door. So I'm gonna start with the stud that's on the S, mount that one first, and then we can pivot it and make sure it's straight. To find out where to drill the hole, I'm just gonna take this paint pen and dab it on the end of that stud and try and make a mark and line it up. That worked pretty good. There's our dot. I'm gonna start with the tiniest pilot hole. I picked the 7/32 for our final hole. Looked about right. Oh, don't scratch the paintwork. Test fit. Look at that precision. Find out how to carefully mark these other 2 holes while keeping the badge nice and straight. All right, main impression. And from what my eyeball could tell, it's pretty straight. We can always step up the hole size to kind of give us some maneuverability. Let's see how I did. Okay, I did it. Test fit. See how my eyeballs are. Okay, that looks pretty straight. Let's find out for real. So we'll go bottom of the door for each corner of the square there. 6 3/4 on the money. Would you look at that? It is straight. There you go. Pop this emblem in for good. And then to secure it, it's these little 10mm thread 'em nut things. And we can easily reach them through this hole. Much better access through this bottom panel. I got those 2 started.
Okay.
Tiny hands.
You can't get your hands through there?
I can't like get my wrist. Yeah. I think I can get in there with the flex head. Got her did. And the reveal. Oh yeah. Very stock appearing, but it needed it. I know it wasn't much, but I just love them little details. The C10 was the same way. It didn't have any of this badging or the cab trim, but I don't know, man. On this older metal, all the little trim pieces and all the bling, I like it. So now the Suburban is looking right. Got all the proper trim, badging. Now I just need to get the old girl cleaned up, get it a bath, spiffed up a little bit, and we'll go for a cruise.